What's going on, fishing friends? I just try to keep it different for you guys every once in a while. Do something a little bit different. I guess that was a jellyfish of some sort, which is apropos because things are getting warmer. We're going to go from those red pink jellyfish that we see in the bay over the winter to the white ones that we all love during the summer. But I'm excited. I think we're going to break a TFC record tonight for the number of people tuned in for a regional fishing report. I think that number is like 51 or 52 that Pete set. So we're going to try to break that tonight. If you know anybody that loves fishing, send them our way, and we'll break that record tonight. And I don't know, do something special if we do. Haven't thought of that yet. Probably should have thought of that already. Anyways, let's not waste any time. Let's bring in the man, the legend, the GOAT, as I call him. He hates it when I do this.
No, there's a billion goats right now, man. There's a lot of great things going on. A lot of great guides doing it right now, man.
The Mid-Chesapeake Bay. Yeah. You're the GOAT. And I'm sorry, I love all those guys. I know all these guys you're talking about. Yeah. But until they can consistently go into the skinny water like you do and catch the same quality of fish that you do, you are my GOAT, sir. So sorry if I'm embarrassing you. Sorry, not sorry.
Been doing it 20-something years. I better have something a little bit decent by now.
Absolutely. They were talking about it on the last show about how time on the water is irreplaceable. And I agree with that 800%. Like you cannot replace time on the water. It doesn't matter how nice your fish finder is. It doesn't matter how nice your boat is. If you got 23 years on the water, hard to beat that.
I'm telling you, hey, over 200 trips a year since the year 2004. And then before that, I was part-time. So I did a lot of trips then. And then from 2004 till now, it's a lot of trips. So I'm out there a lot, still love it. And you learn a lot when you're out there. You observe a lot. And I'll tell you, here's the key thing. I'm still learning a lot. There's a lot of folks with different twists on things. I get them on my boat and I learn. I learn some things I want not to do, but I certainly learned some new tricks. And then, there's a bunch of new professionals that have started up in the last few years. Those guys are great, man. And they're doing things that I didn't do. So now I'm trying to do it too. So we're all equal out there, man. And you got to spend time out there to do it. So it's all good.
Well, absolutely. I think we agree on that. But let's jump into the 2-minute bite. The 2-minute bite, as always, is 2 minutes spent on the fish that's biting the most, the gear you're using to catch it, and the technique that you're using with that gear. So let's roll into that.
Okay. Well, the fish being caught right now is ginormous striped bass. So there's a whole bunch of ginormous striped bass. If it's low light, we're using these big Boss BKDs right here, these big old 10-inchers. If it's low light, and then if it's in any light, especially once it starts to get light out, the old 10-inch Boss BKD with about a 2-ounce head. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then if it's sunny, let's go with I only got 6s in front of me, but this is a 6, but the 10s. And
today, no use.
6s catch big, right? If winds northeast, fish bite least. Right. But anyway, chartreuse is good. Also, that's what's currently going on. So it's 1.5 ounce, 2 ounce, main stem of the bay. Granted, the power plant has been very inconsistent. So if you're planning on going there, plan on not catching too well. Sometimes, it can happen. But the main stem of the bay, this is an anomaly this year. So the main stem of the bay, it's run full force out there, find bait, and then find bait with fish in it. So sometimes it happens quick. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. And, you got people working together out there locating the bait with the fish. But the Boss BKDs with the 10-inch, the 10-inchers with skirts and say a GI jig head with the big eyes on it. Oof, you cannot go wrong with that. So yeah, that's the 2-minute bite.
But like you do in the fall and in the winter, the bird show's kind of phasing out, right? Until for now, like you're not going to be seeing as birds the way you were a couple of months ago, right?
Well, even in the month of February, we did see birds a fair amount of time, and sometimes in 40 to 50 feet. And I had an over 50, on the measuring tape, 51.
Let's show it. There, look at that.
Yeah, that was it. That
Bam!
was 51-inch, very heavy fish, and that was on a 10-inch BKD on the top, and it was in 40, 50 feet of water. But the fish were pushing bait to the top, and we saw some boils. The first boil I saw, I thought it was a loon, man, because loons can fool you. I only saw the boil, and then I saw another boil, and there was definitely no loon attached to that boil. So the guy on my boat, Matt, made an expert cast over in front of that biggest boil that we saw, and he didn't let it down at all. It was an ounce jig head, but he just worked it immediately, and that big monster hit it right on top. When it hit, we saw the boil and everything. So that, a 50-inch fish or a 40-inch fish is cool, but it's way cool when it's on top. So that was way cool. And there was birds. And you're right. Lately, it's not been much of a bird situation lately, but birds do sit around and wait, man. They'll sit around out there, and you'll get over where they're sitting around, and you'll locate bait. And some of that bait holds fish, and some of that bait does not hold fish. So it's a tough game, man. It is not easy.
Man, it's been my experience, and I fished the bay for, gosh, it's getting close to 10 years now.
Yep.
And I've always noticed that as spring rolls around, those working birds, that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
The working birds is kind of like a late September, October thing through the winter. And then when spring comes around, that just does, like, not with regularity. It's not,
right.
You don't really use birds as a locator beacon anymore.
I don't recall ever using birds on the regular in April or May, or even, June. They start to maybe show up north in the bay. Yeah. Down where I fish, I don't ever depend on birds in April, May, June. Now, granted, if I see them working, that's a wonderful thing, and I'll go get them. But that's not the thing. That's never been the thing for me in those months. Now, October, a lot of somewhat small fish underbirds in the main stem where I fish, Solomon South. And then I think it's that way north also. But then once the water temps drop below 50 in the shallow water, every predator from the shallow water leaves that water, and they come out in the main stem of the bay and start chasing that bait. And that's when we start catching bigger ones. Now, up north above the Bay Bridge region, they're catching nice fish up there, in October, but when the water's above 50. But I don't down here until that water gets down below 50, and that's when it starts to get very consistent and reliable.
Well, let's open it up for questions. We have one question coming in already. I always have questions for Walleye Pete. He's taught me a lot of what I know about fishing. But before we do that, we always do a prize for question of the night. And you and your lovely wife, Charlotte, have been gracious enough to put together a pretty awesome prize pack for the question of the evening tonight. You want to show us what that is?
Okay, this here is a used, but it swims straight, and it was at my seminars. I just had it on the table, and it's still got a little bit of line on it. I'll cut that line off before I send it. But this is an X-Wrap 12. It catches fish really, really well in 5 to 7 feet. And I should keep
good fish mojo on it already.
I should keep it, but I'm going to give it away. And then we've got, thanks to BKD Bill, BKDs, we got some Big Boss whites, some pinkies, some certainly darker colored ones for that dark situation out there. And then I've got some Zoom paddle tails that I really like. And, they're 5-inch paddles. They're very soft. So if you catch a fish with them, they'll rip. So you got to glue them. You got to glue these on the jig head. But anyway, so, I've got a very simple 4 Seasons Guide Service t-shirt. So whoever wins will have to tell me the size. and then give me their address, and my wife will send all this stuff out.
That's a pretty sweet prize.
Yeah, man.
And I like that shirt. And I haven't seen a lot of those out there. So someone that wins that shirt will have something that, I mean, there's probably not a whole ton of those out in the population, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Also, we're going to throw in a hummingbird hat too. Hummingbird hat. Okay. Not this one, but yeah.
It'll be like a hat that looks like your shirt.
Yeah, a hummingbird. Yes, that's exactly correct. Yep.
All right. Well, we got some questions rolling in already. I'm sure the presentation of the prize is going to generate some more.
Okay.
But let's see. Where is it? Rodney. Here we go. Rodney always starts us off. Do you have a favorite fishing? Do you have your favorite fishing hotspots locked up in your mind, man?
I've got hot regions. Something I always tell people on the boat: great spots don't always hold fish. So, yeah. I mean, I have some incredibly wonderful rock piles and shallow that work good at certain times. I've got deep water troughs that work good at certain times. But these spots don't always produce. So they don't always produce. There's a hummingbird hat. But anyway, they don't always produce. So they're not locked in my mind. They're absolutely in my mind. And when I'm in the region of some of those hot spots, yeah, I'll go to them. But locked is not the right word. It's certainly a region and a pattern, but there's no spots that I go to that always produce, and I wish there was. If there is, tell it to me.
Well, if there was, it'd be overfished, and people will get a little bit more,
and then they wouldn't be there.
Yeah. Justin Burns is. I've gotten to meet Justin now, so thanks for tuning in, Justin. Are these fish pre-spawn fish headed up the bay, or do you think they're post-spawn fish that still be, or do you think the post-spawn fish will still be around during trophy season, or will they be gone? I have my opinion on that, but I'll let you chime in first.
I'll just go off the top of my head on what I think. And we've had a warm winter, but I know that these fish don't just travel with temperatures, because every winter since I've been here, we've gotten fish, at the power plant in the middle of the winter. We've had them lately when the water's warmer. I think they come up here. Maybe it's a moon thing. There's some smart guys out there that know this stuff. I definitely don't. So are these pre-spawn fish heading up the bay? Yeah, but you know what? I think a couple days ago, or maybe 3 or 4 days ago, we caught 2 fish that were absolutely spawned out. They were absolutely 47-inch fish that were flopping. Their bellies were not full, and big stripers can spawn early. The fish gods didn't set a timer. They don't go at the same time, so they spawn at different times. If there's some major issues with weather, Mother Nature, or whatever, I think it's designed that way so that they don't all go at once and all lose all their eggs at once. I don't know, but they definitely some are coming and some are going. The biggest of the bigs, I think, go pretty quick, but trophy season's May 1st. I don't know. It's going to be an early season for sure. I don't know if they're going to be there for those fish to go on ice or not. I'm hoping they're gone. But anyway,
you got me feeling smart, because you basically said every single thing that I was going to say. I think a lot of the fish are spawned out right now. I think they're done. But exactly like you said, there's still fish that are probably spawning now, but I think a lot of them are done.
I don't know about the done part. Out of probably 50-ish something fish caught in the last couple of months, those giants, there's only 2 of them that I know for sure were not spawned out.
Right, but I mean,
we're spawned out.
Yeah, but over the last few months. But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of the fish are probably, now. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, good question, but it's not an exact science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich asked, do you use some of Wayne Young's info from his books?
Absolutely. Wayne Young's books. He's got several. And you could call Wayne Young or get a hold of him. He's pretty available, and he loves to talk about his books. You know why? Because they're freaking good. They have structures. All his books are like for different regions. And I can't off the top of my head tell you each region, but I know he just did one that's got stuff off of New Jersey, Raritan Bay, Sandy Hook, up in there. And then he's got all kinds of stuff in Chesapeake Bay. And they have numbers, and they have history about what's that structure. I mean, he really put a lot of effort in. I'm impressed with that, how much effort he put into writing those books and coming up with that info. I'm a structure plus current lover, and his books are all about structure. How the heck can I not love them? So yeah, they're great.
Well, being a structure plus current lover will equal being a fish lover.
Not always. Sometimes
not always. More often than not.
Yeah, exactly.
Carl, my man, he like owns the second part of my mind.
Carl Ward.
We always think the same question. I was going to ask this question, Carl. He says, I'm glad you asked it though. When do you think the first shallows trout will show this year?
Okay, good question, Carl. Well, we've had a warm winter. Heck, they didn't even all die in the power plant. We actually caught a couple in March. But there's none there to speak of. I mean, you can't ever go there right now and think you're going to catch one. If we start to warm up again, when the water gets over 50 degrees, it's possible. And when it gets over 60, it's very probable, unless there was a gigantic fish kill to the south. And this year there was one period of time when some fish died, but I communicated with a couple of really smart guys down that way that know those trout, and some did die, but most did not die. So I think that, we could be getting them certainly in April. I'll be fishing for them in April. I guarantee you that. I don't know if I'm going to catch any, but I'm going to try.
I'm just going to make a bold prediction here, Pete, and you tell me what you think. I think this year's, because of this warm winter, this is going to be a good trout year.
I hope you're right, because I don't know. I'd love to say I know, but I don't know.
It is March the 16th.
Yeah.
I will say that if you're out there and you're a trout fisherman, you will catch more trout per trip this year than you did last year. I'm just going to go out there and say that.
Is that a written guarantee?
No, it's just a prediction.
Okay. No guarantees. Okay.
Just where people can come back in 4 months for the July edition of this show and say, Grant, you're right.
Okay, well, you make sure and save that. When's the first one going to get caught?
On your boat? You want to make a prediction?
Yeah, on my boat, first one.
Let's play a little game, and first round is on the winner. How about that, between you and me?
Okay.
I know you can only drink 2 beers, so the only round is on the winner.
Okay.
I can really only drink 1 or 2 anyways. But I will say on your boat, I'm going to go early. I'm going to say April 12th.
I'm going to say, I was going to say April 15th, and I'll be trying before that, so it could definitely happen. I'll be definitely doing some trips over in the islands, especially when we have warm sun. We get some warmer than normal temps. That's what I'm hoping for. Hey, go ahead. What's up?
No, Anastasia's saying in the background, Western Shore, he will get his first trout.
Nah.
Not just at the power plant.
Oh, wait, I already got my first trout.
That's right.
I got 8 in February, and I got 2 in March. But
we caught a bunch on your boat that day. I mean, we probably.
Oh, you were on the boat. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, I sent you some pics. We got to look at it.
Let's look at it. Let's talk about today.
We need to look at today's fish finder pics because they're way cool. It's with the Humminbird Solix, and that's how we're finding fish right now. Without birds, the bait is in the main shipment channel and on the edges. Today they were 75 to 85 feet deep.
Well, you want to start with 2D or side imaging?
Go with the side image first. It's pretty cool. So if you look at that side image, the water is, I think it was around 75 feet right there. Now look to the right. There's a little circle with some fish in it. Go to the zoomed in one. There's fish right there. See those fish? I'm counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then
guys, if you're not familiar with reading side imaging, you want to look basically right in the center of your screen. There's about 8 marks. It looks like someone made a claw print in the screen.
Yeah, and those fish were chewing on those baits, and those baits made space for them. And we saw that stuff. And when we saw that stuff, my guys were in the water. And go ahead and bring up Fig's fish, because he caught that fish out of this bait. There you go. It was right there. It was in 75, 80. and he caught it on an 8-inch plastic of some sort. I'm not sure what he had on there, but we were running, over the last month, 2 months, I've got 10 BKDs on all my rods. He had something on his, but it was, a plastic, and he put it down in the bait. He had a 2-ounce chartreuse jig head and a chartreuse plastic, and he was really masterfully working that. He hooked him up good today. So go ahead and go to the down image one. So there's a down image. Look at the depth on that water. That's 87 feet of water. And, you might not know what you're looking at there, but in the center of the screen, just to the left and up from the crosshairs,
Right.
There are 3 fish right there. 3 fish that I think, certainly 2 fish, maybe 3. And those light blue lines are our jigs down there. And my friend Craig caught one right out of that. And then up at the
Craig
top.
was out there today?
What's that?
Craig was out there today?
Yeah, Craig.
Oh, I love that guy. Yeah.
So he caught one out of that. And then those 2 marks up above, they're not that red to me. I'd like to see a little more red before I'm really hot thinking that that's a fish. But the ones in the bait, they were in there chewing on that bait, and we caught one out of that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, here's the close-up of that one.
Yeah, there's the close-up. Those are fish in that bait. Now, with your own fish finder, you need to get out there, and there's no way you can learn how to use it unless you go out there and use it. You can look at my stuff. You can look at Billy Joe Jim's Bob's stuff. You can look at any guide stuff if you're on a guide's boat, but you got to learn your own stuff.
My favorite time to dial in a fish finder is, you got to be out there, like you said.
Yeah.
But you need to have fish. There have to be fish there. So what I do a lot of times is go out when there's a fleet of boats where you pretty much know there's fish. They don't have to be big fish.
Yeah.
But the fleet is generally going to show you where there's some fish.
Yeah.
And that's a great time to dial in your unit. We've got a nice bend in this rod.
Oh yeah. That's big. Yeah. He was using a very light stick, which I was giving him grief about because he lost a fish today. And my excuse for him to lose that fish was he didn't have enough. His stick was a little bit limp, a little fast action at the end. Yeah. And I don't believe he got a good hook in the fish, but then he hammered 3 in a row. So, with that light stick.
Well, you can see it's an ugly stick, and I'm not going to make any judgment.
No, but he likes it.
I don't want to close Shakespeare off from being a sponsor at one point for us. So
yeah.
There's some comments, I believe. Let's see. Shore Sharp says, incredible fish.
Thank you.
See you, brother. Justin also asks, so those blue lines are the jigs?
Those blue lines was the jig falling down through the water. That streak of line was the lead. That was the lead jig falling through the water column. And the way we catch those suspended fish, and if anybody tells you it's easy, they're lying. When those fish are suspended 50 feet down, when they're right there 50 feet down, or 60 feet down, those fish are, or something like that. It's hard to catch them. You got to get your jig past them, underneath them.
And then you got 87 feet of water.
You got to aggressively work that jig up through there. If you barely move it, it doesn't draw attention. It doesn't look like, it looks just, it doesn't draw itself apart from the bait fish that's all healthy. So you really got to put some action, pop, working it up through the water column, and you hope to pull it through those fish. So when there's only 2 fish, you got to get a little bit lucky. Plus, there's a lot of skill involved. So the guys with confidence and great twitch catch those fish.
Yeah, hitting suspended fish is tough. We are really out of time. Shore Sharp, you are a TFC Plus member. Guys, if you don't know how to join TFC Plus, you go to our YouTube page on a computer or an Android phone and click the join button, not the subscribe button. You should have already subscribed. Click the join button. It's $5 a month. Tons of extra information. A lot of it's from Walleye Pete. But because you're a TFC Plus member, Shore Sharp, your question gets in as the last question. And Shore Sharp asks, Captain Pete, what's your thoughts on Live Scope? I think Humminbird is coming out with it. They already are out with it.
Okay, I'm getting it this Friday. That's my thought. Here's what I saw. I saw some of Garmin's stuff, and Garmin's on Captain Jamie Clow's boat was insane. So when I saw that, I messaged him and said, holy mackerel. I gotta have that, but
Yeah.
I gotta have that technology, and Humminbird has it also. And I'm getting it on Friday. I'm gonna get it on the boat and test it out. So my thoughts on it, I think it's way cool. And we catch a lot of fish with side image and down image, and it side and down definitely helps. But this live scope can shoot forward, and then the way I'll have it, I'll be able to adjust it and change it in every direction. So I think the Garmin shoots straight forward because it's on a fixed mount, where the one I'm going to have is going to be a mount that I can adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be way cool, and I can't wait to try it out. So that's what I think on that.
Yeah. Pete, if I was in your position and, the fishing was getting more and more difficult every year, I would definitely do that because, I've been on your boat. You sit and, you're finding fish for people all the time, a whole lot more than you're actually fishing. But in terms of myself or any boat that I ever have, I think it would make me look at the screen too much.
That's all I did today was I had to look at the screen and find fish and then point and tell my guys where to throw it and oh my goodness gracious, it was it's a long day out there when you're struggling to catch just a couple fish, but when you hook one of those giants, it's insane. So there's guides out there doing it right now. I mean, Greg Shoot with iFish Maryland's crushing it. Jamie Cloud's doing really great. Steve Griffin's doing super good. And I'm out there trying to keep up with those boys. It's I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool.
Goat.
Oh, stop it. Oh my God. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, we really buzzed through that 27 minutes.
Yeah.
We're actually behind in time. So let's do the question of the night really quick so we can get on to our next show. I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can do this. Put the link for the next. I might have messed. Let's see. I'm going to put the link for the next show. I might not be able to do that actually, but it's okay. Let's do the question of the night first, and if I have a second to do that, I will.
So, hey, since I'm giving away the prize, it's a conflict of interest if I pick the question. Let Anastasia pick the question.
Okay.
I'm making her work.
I think she's working on it back there.
She's working on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, this has been an anomaly of a year out there. These big fish.
Justin,
we'll see if it's an anomaly. We'll try next year. We'll see what happens.
Which question?
Justin all the way. So, okay.
This is the question of the night winner. Are these pre-spawn fish headed up the bay? I think that's a great question.
Great question.
Well deserved, yeah.
Yep. So my wife is packing the box right now, and she is quick. She might even throw it in the mailbox tonight. Tomorrow.
Justin, I'm like 80% because I think you've won once. But just in case, send us your address to admin@thefishingchannel.net. There it is.
Yep.
And we'll get that information over to Pete.
What's his shirt size?
Oh yeah, good call. Thank you, Pete.
Yep.
What size shirt do you wear? And I'm going to go ahead and put the link for the next show.
And his name.
You can let us. Yeah, that's fine too, Justin. You can, if you don't want to. Although I've met you, you don't wear an embarrassing size shirt. You're not like extra small or quadruple X or anything. But if you'd rather, you can put it in the email. But I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the next show. Guys, if you haven't seen Captain Moss's Georgia Inshore Fishing Report, he does a really great job. I'm going to put the link right here. It's on in like 1 minute.
1 minute. Take care.
So go check it out. Pete, thank you so much, buddy. You're the man. You always run a great report.
Thanks.
So we will see you in another month. Thank you so much, brother, and check you guys next time.
Take care. See you. Bye-bye.